to everybody who's connected, watching, and listening to us from totally around the globe. The world is getting smaller day by day, and today, Rupesh, I'm delighted for you to join me all the way from Pune, India.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on, Rashpal. Looking forward to our conversation.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I'm gonna get straight into it without any fluff. First thing, tell me what's on your desk. Tea or coffee?
A glass of water. Cheers.
Awesome. What do you tend to lean towards? Beach holidays or city breaks?
Mm, I would prefer a beach holiday these days because I'm living in inland. So yeah,
Awesome. Cats or dogs? What's your favorite?
if given choice, neither. But if I have to pick, dogs.
And on an evening, on a weekend, do you Netflix binge watch or do you get a board game out?
I'd prefer to get a board game out, but then you end up with friends who probably don't want to play a game, and then you end up binge watching a movie.
Fair enough. Okay, a bit of both then.
Yes.
Pineapple on your pizza?
Only with jalapenos and cheese in the crust.
Awesome. Nice mix. Are you an early bird or night owl?
Hmm. Night owl. See, now there's nothing I can do to defend that. Like, see, if I decide if I have to be up at 5 a.m., I'll get myself to sleep by 10, 11, and I'd be up. But then on a daily, I end up sleeping at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So, night owl it is.
And do you prefer concerts or comedy shows?
Comedy shows.
Yeah.
Now, comedy shows. I'd be younger, I'd say concerts.
Okay, very good. Don't know how applicable this question is for you in the part of the world you are, but do you prefer winter snow or summer sun?
We don't have snow, but I love winters over summer any day.
Yeah,
Like, it
just
gets down to 10 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius, but that's
okay.
about it. That's very cold for us.
That, that's still t-shirt weather for us. Do you prefer texting or talking?
Depends what, but texting, I can, like, there can be a follow on conversation.
Yeah, of course. Camping or five-star hotel?
Their moods.
Bit of
Yeah,
both.
like, yeah, bit of both, bit of both. Like, if I've been roaming from one office to another, then probably camping. But then if I was stuck just in front of my screen working for the last month or so, then I'd go for a five-star hotel because yes, the pool does not hurt. Or the hot tub does not hurt.
Awesome. Rupesh, thank you very much. That was the first quick fire 10 questions. You got 10 out of 10. Well done, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
That gives us a good insights to what you like on your pizza, the fact that you do like to do a board game, but the people around you prefer to watch Netflix. So thanks for
No,
sharing
but
that.
not like that. We do end up playing Shashan,
Okay.
Scrabble, Sequence, Catan a lot. A lot also. Not like we don't play board games, but like it's a hit and miss. One on four, two on three, two on four.
Noted, noted. Good stuff. So moving into the thick of our conversation today, um, I know what you do. I know where your strengths are. I know where you specialize. I've done a deep dive, obviously, on the LinkedIn. But for our listeners, for the people watching, very succinctly in one sentence, just give us a quick snapshot of the company you're running and what you're doing.
So we are building a network of EV charging stations, distributed data centers, QSR, and ad spaces franchised into one location. and we've been bootstrapping that business by running a marketing agency and a software services company. So essentially, if you're looking to own a EV charger or a small bit of a data center, revamp your website, get a software to optimize your business, or need digital transformation for your business, I'm here for you.
That's about six businesses in one.
Oh, damn. I
Wow.
look at it as one business, my friend.
I suppose what you're seeing from your point of view is that they're all interlinked,
Yes.
and they're a solution to a problem that is all connected together.
Hmm.
So you're gone.
After you, after you.
Well, I was going to say, what is the actual problem you kind of solve, and why does it matter right now? What's changing in the climate in well, tell me, is it Pune wide, is it India wide, or what's the scope? Tell me about the geography, and then
The
I'll.
goal and the hope is to go global,
Wow.
but we are starting out at Pune,
Hmm.
obviously, because this is where everything began for me personally. So, like, if we are to touch base on the problem statements of what we do, I would kind of, there are four big problems, in my opinion, right? We are using more data, and that's only going to increase. In this, what will happen is we will need data centers. Like, the exponential need of data center is not going away anywhere. Plus, there's a huge latency issue on bottleneck. Like, there's a lot of bottlenecks with respect to how networks are set up, and because of which it affects the latency for a lot of things. So, like payment failures, high ping in the game, uh, your loading screen just keeping on loading. All of this happens when we kind of have the traditional data centers, right? Like, it's one place with a lot of computers connected, and then we bounce off all the data through there. But then essentially look at that in a way where we take all those computers and put them in different locations. Each of those servers kind of fulfills the geography it was kind of marked for, and it has a limited load towards which it can fulfill, or kind of, how do I say this? I'm trying to not be technical as much as possible. Because, like, I've been told I can geek out a lot. So
It,
in
it
keeping that
sounds
in
like
mind, see, the thought is maximizing real estate value, one. Second, reduce latency for our users on whoever is hosting using iCloud. Diabolically, Touchwood will be one of the fastest data centers in the world the day we have critical mass. Third problem is, while we EV charge, the minimum time required for a charge cycle has not come down below 20 minutes anywhere in the world on any size of chargers yet. And it's not like now we are at the iceberg tip of the technology, right? We have reached a point, 2 in 10 car is an EV car in the world on an average, and it should be. Right. And that number has to keep on increasing in a way for sustainable abundance, in a way, right? So, spending that 20-25 minutes on the journey and making it productive in a way it can facilitate your journey, or you're doing something in the journey. So, we are going to have meeting rooms at pick stops. We are going to have a place where you can grab a bite. There'll be like restrooms for refreshment for the journey. So essentially making your journey more fruitful, it just need not be about solving problems. Like, my car is about to discharge, I need a place where I can charge it, but I should also be able to spend a good half an hour there doing something. That
mm,
something will be like hyper local to every location, because every place has its essence on what that something can be and should be. And we want pick stops to become a network which facilitates hyperlocal markets. and kind of standardizes the essence of different regions to the world, because tourism is also increasing. Big stops can become that one place where you find everything for tourists also. The QSR shopping list which we have for the stores, like the commerce which we want to sell, like the products which we want to sell on pick stops, are above a certain benchmark of quality. So like that's not, those won't be the products you find on every store. These are products we look for but need accessible.
Yeah, how
For
interesting.
even Biscoff can fall in that example.
How interesting. And just I know you don't want to go too technical, but that kind of intrigues me, the technical side. It sounds like a CDN in the cloud infrastructure, but what you're saying is dotted around in physical locations.
See, fundamentally, what happens is the geography of where the data center is affects on the speed of data transfer. We are trying to cut down that speed for every user. Like, you see, for us as a user, it would be like we have a server toward like a few miles away from us, then a few hundred miles away from us. That is kind of, that's a significant difference with respect to data transfer time. Like if the ping is about 30, 35, 40 on a few hundred miles, it comes down in single digits
Yeah,
on that distance.
significant difference.
Yes, and if we want to facilitate a life coexisting with AI, that loading time cannot happen, because that loading time lag just bugs out the whole software context loop. Like
Yeah,
the AI making sense out of what we need from it, us and our personas and personalities. We need that fast internet for it to be able to do that and make our lives better. For any AI, actually.
yeah, yeah. I understand.
It's an infrastructure problem. It's not a code problem, code-based problem.
I kind of I think we're experiencing that with voice at the moment in the AI world, where there's a lot of AI agents that are simulating phone calls, and it's not quite there. Meaning there's a little bit of a lag, and because of that lag, it doesn't feel real. In a real conversation, we're speaking in the moment, the response is in the moment, and vice versa. With that little split second lag, just makes it feel slightly stilted, slightly unreal. And
So,
that whole
right,
experience.
to be able to be like for a company to be able to host that, either they are on somebody else's servers or they're on their on-prem servers. But in either of those cases, it need not be the user of the technology, it would be close to any of these servers.
Yeah,
We want to put servers close to the users, and towards which users' life increase, may get better.
yeah, no, makes sense.
That's the thought.
What does back to the business? What's the big goal? What's the dream? What's the North Star that we're trying to achieve? You mentioned global from where you are now, but tell me that in a bit more detail.
See, I'd break that down in the next few, like for the next decade. Like when people ask, what's your plan with Pick Ahead, and like how many years exit and whatnot, whatnot. The only question I answer, like the only way I can answer that question is essentially saying I signed myself up for a 25-year job because the impact of what we could achieve is massive. W- with respect to there's multiple aspects here, right? Our adaptation of technology as a country, need of technology on what we need technology for versus what we are investing in. So I kind of think can this place can become like a benchmark for everybody to be on, infrastructure wise, to be a part of, because we are trying to build a democratized system in where you can also own a piece of a data center, so that you can be a part of the system which is connecting the world. And we all cannot get into this because of the high capex point of entry, because of the current nature of data centers. But
Mm,
now think of it in a way, we've been doing franchising for petrol pumps for over a few decades now. So that real estate model is kind of like the price to value ratio from that real estate is kind of formalized very well now, right? This is adding a whole another layer of profitability on that real estate investment, which is not cheap. It goes in the bracket of $200,000 and above, or 2 crores in Indian rupees and above, on an average, no matter what.
mm,
And that's not a small sum, right?
mm.
Making Getting value from that investment, maximizing the real estate value, connecting that maximized real estate value into a network which facilitates our day-to-day life, be it traveling, be it data traveling. For example, like data travel is a very how philosophical word in a way. Like I don't know how everyone's going to react to it, but
I think it's an interesting point because you're right. How will people react to it is because of their understanding of it. People probably don't think of it. They just expect their phones to have whatever they're looking for and their laptops to have whatever, but they don't actually think about how that transmission, that transaction, that data transfer is happening. They just think it's happening. The cloud is here, and
and
we just have what we need.
and that is why we see like that major difference in the tech company valuation also,
Yeah.
because of the number of people less being involved. That number needs to increase.
Mm.
Only then everything starts seeming fair in the world of tech businesses also, then, which kinda is overpriced and people say it's a bubble. I would also kinda say we are overhyping the outcome of what AI can be versus investing in all the flashy bits over what actually needs investments in. Is my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of excitement. In some places, the right. It's nice to be excited. It adds a bit of color to life. But I think people are getting, in some cases, a bit carried away with AI. Some is cause for concern, some is genuine excitement, and for a lot of people, still oblivious to what AI is and doing and its potential. So I think it's in a really interesting time that we're at with regards to where we are. 10 years ago, business was very different. It was machine learning was kind of a bit of a buzzword. 2026, it's all AI. The next 2 3 years or next 10 years, the landscape's going to be so radically different. So it's an exciting time. I'm going to just
I
change.
have something which
Yes,
can
sir.
actually help make any user's life better with respect to what an AI is and how they can comprehend to the use case of an AI, right? So essentially, for every user, I would like to say is they should look at it's a computer software which runs your computer for you. So all the things you kind of want to do on a computer, you can communicate with the software for it to organize and orchestrate those things in the back end and quicker. So like there's no point over complicating thinking that it is some sort of intelligent being in something from that angle. It is a very smart combination of if then else loop with a lot of hardware combined together for it to understand what you say and do accordingly. For a computer to speak the human language, we are kind of reaching that point that it is close to perfecting in a way, close to perfecting some aspects of human communication. And we should capitalize on that because uh, we have seen the exponential growth in how connected we have become as people after computers have come to our world. Like you see the information or knowledge transfer before, let's say, 1950s. towards today versus today, right?
It's huge.
Can't compare.
Yeah. I mean, this conversation is a perfect example of it.
Oh, 100%. And we use this example about half a decade back also on how much we've gotten connected. But that's the thing, right? Not just that. Now we know what's happening in our day-to-day lives with respect to how the world is. Like, let's say pre 1600s or 1700s, where some countries did not exist for us in a way, like as a user of a government or someone living on this earth, right? To 2026, we have friends in some countries who have friends in another countries, and then we meet in a third country for something all together. That beauty of so many people being connected together on one channel is what I love about what AI and internet is going to become ahead. They both go hand in hand.
I think you touch on a really interesting perspective. You know, the world has become smaller than ever and is getting smaller and smaller from that point of view. Our connection, our ability to connect and stay connected with friends which are not down the street, which are not in the area that we live in, is only going to get stronger, better. That's going to help everything in our business life, in our day-to-day life, from friends and families that we live thousands of miles away from, and the people we do business with. I think it just makes a very richer experience all around with regards to that connectivity and diversity as well, because we can see different cultures and the way people do business together in different areas, from UK to US to India and beyond, is different. And that's something to use as an advantage, and that diversity is healthy.
That's why no, like divided we fall and united we stand. I agree to that, no matter what happens. And then, like, there's one more thought I just want to throw in for a food of thought for everyone. Like, think of it, money transfer,
Yeah.
transfer of resources, 1950s, 1800s, and 2026. Let's say you want to send $1 billion from one place to another. It used to take a city's resource pool to gather a lot of resources worth that much, and it used to take a major hit on how that geography is going to operate when that payment used to happen. And that payment used to take about 6 to 8 months in transport. You can
Yeah.
do that 24 hours a day today.
Mm.
So, like, fundamentally, there's always kind of going to be the same value of money in the world, no matter how much we demonetize it, stock split it, come up with whatever math. But the common medium for exchange of value or services or products could be broken down in time, and there's many other variables which come in, and a lot of people have those theories, right? But there's always the same amount of money in the world every day. The change in economies which we are seeing is coming from the pace of the transfer of money over the money itself.
Such a valuable conversation. The last 10 years they've been talking about blockchain. They've been talking about an infrastructure of a one global currency, one global government. This kind of ideology, and you can see that actually breaking the different currency divides, the different power struggles that the different currencies and I suppose territories have. So it's a really interesting space, and you're right. That speed of moving that data, that information, or that value is just gone faster and faster, and with a flat line blockchain or data transfer or a one currency things, there's more transparency of who sent that, where did it land, and why do we have to pay a fee to change it from one to another when that's just an intermediate that's probably making money for no reason, maybe.
See, I Now I have like a debatable opinion on that from both sides, right?
Mhm.
Like, if you don't know how to use systems, you need someone to help you out. If you need someone to help you out, banks and services are the best things. If you don't need anyone to help you out with dealing with these systems, we all know how to deal with money like that, then like, in a way, on what tools are available.
Yeah, how interesting. Talking about money, back to the business. Um, just give us a snapshot on.
Managing money has been one of the biggest occupations for of hundreds of years now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You seem
I
to be
mean,
frozen for some reason.
yeah. So the sometimes it freezes. It's a Riverside thing, but it's fine because what it's doing is just sending packets to the cloud and back down. But we'll just keep going.
See, now think about this. If Riverside was hosted on, let's say, 5 years later on a Pixie cloud, this wouldn't have been happening because you'd have a server close to you, I'd have a server close to me, which are communicating with each other.
It might not even be 5 years. It might be 5 months.
Oh, no, no, no. That's there's an infrastructure time, like a turnkey like, let's say you decide today you want to get a pick stop. It would take 2 months to 3 months for a pick stop to get ready for it to charge the first car because of a lot of things involved in the process.
A lot of infrastructure needs to be put to
Yes,
place.
yes, yes. Not just infrastructure, alignment with the local authorities, distribution of power, making sure the use of power does not short of the grid anywhere else, because it is going to be a megawatt of energy on each of these places on an average, almost a megawatt. Depends
Wow.
on how big the location is, though.
Sure. So we were talking about currencies, we were talking about money. Just staying on that topic for a little bit longer, coming back to the business. Um, tell me when you started, your entry level into the business. What did that look like in numbers with regards to that revenue? And again, where are you now? And what do the next 12 months or 3 years look for you? And you
So
can share as much as you want with regards to, accuracy or just kind of indications on numbers.
it's more than 1500 days since I have been kind of living in my home office by choice to reduce a lot of efficiency, or I was paranoid about being efficient. That's why I never moved my office out of my bedroom. Why? Because I do a lot of context switching on a daily basis, right? Why doing that context switching is necessary is because we are essentially selling an ability for somebody to become a business owner of a profitable business venture. A. B. We are building something which is going to be marking a landmark on our earth for the next 20-25 years. Like, petrol pumps don't go away, right? Like, there's
Mm.
very rare cases where you see petrol pumps go away or they're just shut down and they're useless. But that resource, being like that chance to build that making that resource available is something I do not want to take lightly.
Mm.
So every piece and angle of the business with respect to monetization for the person owning the Pickstop franchisee, towards the churn cycle of cars, towards on how much basic critical mass we need for my servers to make sure every location can become profitable, versus the product churn cycle. All of these things took a lot of thought. So my thought was, we have to go through a shit ton of work. There's the way to organize it. Like, a lot of very wealthy people say follow the money. Now I can actually give an example towards how you can follow the money. In a world where our pick stop location profitability or how the value ratio goes out of the charts is with advertising in the mix, right? To be able to make sure advertising revenue never stops in a way for a pick stop location, we need to be a damn good marketing agency. That's why we started there. So Pick essentially started with us being a marketing agency solving LinkedIn problems for business owner friends of mine, which eventually translated into us making a standardized service for organic growth across social platforms, helping people digital transform their business, get from an offline model to an online model based on what's most practical for them and their customers, not just what sells. Uh, Third, working with different companies and unlocking partnerships from different industries, because one pick stop location has its foot in at least 8 or 10 different industries with respect to making sure all of those products and services reach a customer at that one location. So the only way I thought to connect, or rather put myself in a mindset I could connect this overlap of industries, was to work for or in different industries at the same time. And that came from the marketing agency and the software services company we have built. So in that we have worked with cloth like we have worked around clothing, we have worked around food, we have worked around algorithms, we have worked around IT infra, we have worked around a lot of my honestly, from tech to women's athleisure, that journey, when and how it happened, I was shocked seeing the trajectory of it. Right, like, but that is also part of the ecosystem we are trying to build. And that marketing agency, which we have managed to run for the last 5 years and which is keeping all our operations afloat, can also become a platform for small marketing agencies to come together and advertise on like Pixie screens or Pixtop screens. We kind of don't have a product variable name for it yet, but Pixtop screen is something we can go with now. And we are trying to pilot by June.
Wow.
Let's see how the first location goes. The prototype is sitting on my terrace.
Okay. And with regards to numbers, is there anything you can share with regards to how you started, where you are in that journey, and what the goal is?
uh, when we start, the like see this is something which we should keep in mind with respect to compounding we do being a services agency, right? Like when we start, we cannot handle projects more than a certain uh, x dollar value, whatever that dollar value is with respect to how many people are involved. So seeing that journey from like a yearly first year's revenue become 1 month revenue, and that happening on a yearly basis, in a way where our last year's revenue is probably going to be our last year's entire year's revenue is going to be our 1 month's revenue this month.
Wow.
That compounding of skill only happens when you play with fire. You cannot sit out of execution to kind of get to a point you can do that as a services agency. And that is something I feel happy about, because like now the first domino in my head was the profitability through connecting businesses. That seems possible. Now everything is possible.
Of course.
And now we are at a point we can actually handle big funds. Like the biggest problem I see with a lot of founders who are around my age who raise a lot of capital is that most of the times they are not habitual to deploying capital at that scale.
Mm.
I want to negate that error to maximize the value I can get from the fundraise I do. Or if I do. Touchwood, we don't need one. That's the plan.
Well, sure. So the business from the beginning, and just give me a timeline. You said 1,500 days that you've been working. Is that how long you've been running this business for?
So it's okay. The idea of pick struck me around 2018 September.
Sure.
September, like by October, I got to a place I could do something about it. And then December, COVID happened. We cannot set up an EV infrastructure business in COVID. You cannot start one, essentially. That's clear.
And that put pause on the project.
Because could not do anything,
Yeah.
literally,
The whole
right?
world was on pause.
Ha- So in then I started a podcast which got me in touch with a lot of a lot of interesting people, which helped me out with looking at what business I was in.
Mm.
I like to think we are in the tapri business where we are using the inspiration from a kiosk to drive a retail revolution. But then we are not in that business. We are in five different businesses, which consolidates to become one business. And each of these businesses is a different cog which runs on its own. And all of that aligned together, that machine is going to be the business, right? Like, in a way. I still don't know how I'm going to manage all of that really well, all run all of the entire system well, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to pull that off now. Why? Because now we have 5 years of experience dealing with whatever gets thrown at us at whatever budgets. So getting to that point of execution was very necessary.
Absolutely. And right now in the team, how big is the team? And is I know you're based in Pune. Is it? Are you? Yeah. How big is the army behind you?
So, like I said, right, I kind of wanted to platformize a place for services companies to get a reverse bid and get work in a way. So we started with that model where pick pick's team is very lean and mean,
Mm.
and every service kind of we started building a separate agency which works as a vendor in our ecosystem to prove the ecosystem model.
Sure.
So in all, keeping all the companies we kind of started for service, like the companies which I helped start or we helped start or we started for making sure we could facilitate a certain problem and come up with a service, or a certain opportunity and come up with a service. We build different companies which kind of are part of the whole big partner ecosystem now. And that big partner ecosystem is about 200 people big overall,
Very
but
good.
of which are people like the people which I have a hand in putting together or building as a team, we are 35, 40. My, obviously, I have a hand in putting together the entire ecosystem, but that's not what I'm referring to.
I
Like
understand.
the people on our payrolls, our team's payroll versus other team's payroll who work as vendors.
Of course. But network-wise, you're 200 strong and growing from a
Yes,
network point of view. Yeah.
yes.
But it sounds like your model is you're building a lean machine to drive that from a leadership model, like a franchise model, and you're building network so you get that scalability.
And that way what happens is the reward and the reward cycle, uh, there's, how do I say this, we mess up and we do good things, the reward and punishment cycle stays aligned
Yeah.
in a way where it becomes a system agnostic to what my opinions are of running it, because there's some things which we need to do to make sure there's no system failures, which negates most of the errors. In a way, I like to think so.
So right now, what's the biggest challenge in the business out of these four? Is it growth? Is it focus? Is it cash or people?
For cash has been the biggest challenge always. Why? Because one location goes about 250K, 300K on an average. Even if we can benchmark it at 95K for every 800, 900 square feet. But 800, 900 square feet is not usually feasible for us to get a return on time, right? So it averages out at 300K per product delivered. Like, we do math of, let's say we are selling something for $45 and our cost is $8 landed. Our landed cost for everything is in six digits on whatever we sell there. So I kind of had to get real with respect to the scale of the services company we need to actually fund our operations at pick stops, and market was also picking up. So did, I saw that we could be patient for a while, where we are not so focused on getting the pick stops on the road, but also building the war chest, which will make sure we can facilitate every pick stop we get on the road for a decade.
Wow. How? Yeah. Thank you. Final
Did I get
question.
that right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you?
I
Final.
think my like the question you asked and the answer I
So,
gave.
so the question was, what was the biggest constraint in the business? And you were saying it was cash out of
Yeah, and this
growth,
is why.
focus, cash and people. Yeah.
No, now, but we are at a point where we have quantified every metric on how the cash is going to be used and dispersed, and the turnaround time. So now it's a resource.
Sure.
First, it was
Okay.
kind of a burden.
Yeah, it's a bit of a turning point, pivot point from
We have
as
reached that inflection point.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Final question before we go into a quick fire, rapid few questions at the end. So over the last 12 months, what decision has made a huge impact, good or bad, to where you are today? Something that you did in the last 12 months that's made huge impact.
I randomly got a call from uh, a guy called Devar Saraf in Bombay. He started a new community called the Bombay Founders Club. Last January, his call got me to cancel a lot of stuff I had in my week to meet him and start the Pune chapter. That has been kind of a differentiator on how we could bootstrap for longer also, because of the, like, before they were kind of called and got me involved in Bombay Founders Club Pune chapter. Most 95% of our business came from companies outside India. Now we started working with companies in India, which helped us forge partnerships on a different scale altogether.
Interesting.
With that critical mass of start, in a way, like
Mm,
that critical mass of starting it right is very necessary, or we get in that loop of never getting anything right.
mm,
So that is one thing we did differently. And then secondly, we focused on what our strengths were, because 4 years of jumping around on trying to sell what sells versus what we are actually good at and is a easy sell for us, that realization for us as a team of 6 7 people,
mm,
design team, came in a little late, the hard way. And I'm glad it came the hard way,
mm,
towards which we ended up, let's say it takes 10 rupees or a dollar to try something out, right? If given a chance in 10 cents for someone else, if I get to try it out, why not? I operate on that ethos, which kind of helps compound a skill set,
mm.
which I'm happy to see is helping us get to the point we want to.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to move into a rapid fire question round. Six questions. Um, which win over the last, say, 12 months did you not celebrate enough? Which milestone did you not celebrate enough?
Getting to a point, our last year's revenue came in from one deal.
Oh, wow.
Like, the point I'm trying to make is to be able to facilitate the service. That was a 5-year journey.
Mm,
Like, it is very easy to say someone gave us money, we can do it. No, you have to get to a point where people will give you money to work on a problem and have faith in you that you can deliver it. That
absolutely.
only comes from trial by fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. What loss has shaped the way you operate?
Loss. Hmm. Interesting. Um, I had like what loss? So lost opportunities. Like with respect to a couple years back, we kind of had gotten an opportunity to set up an office in another country, which was an invitation from their metropolitan government. I'm trying not to take the country name because, like, I could not follow through on it and it will prick me back again if I listen to this. But the thought is, when you get an opportunity which can fundamentally change on how you operate and work on things, don't let it go. Because even if you cannot follow through on it, you'd be at a place much better than you were at to be able to keep up with that opportunity. So, like, not taking that opportunity is that mistake which I cherish the most towards building Pick now. Like, we could have had a research center in a country where, of which design inspiration I love the most, and that country is known for space management.
Wow.
Uh, and we are in the space management business at the end of the day.
Yes.
So, like, talking in metaphors and philosophies, it was the best thing for us to do.
Okay. What are you saying no to right now?
Saying no to right now. Helping start another company, actually. Like, these days, so yes. Like, until a year back, 6 months back, I was very proactive on everybody to start their own dream venture and whatnot, whatnot. But no, the reason I am saying no is not because they should stop. It's just because it eats away my
Yeah.
time a lot.
But
That's why, like, it's come, like, now we have reached an inflection point where w- we can make a lot of difference
mm,
than we could 2 3 years back, you know.
yeah. So you have to safeguard your time and your energy and your
Yes.
focus. Yeah. No, I get that 100%. Um, what tool or habit do you have that you stick to?
Damn, I have a few. No matter what, I do my laundry myself.
Wow.
That's something which makes like the smell of fresh clothes is very addictive. It's at the level of fuel and mud.
How interesting.
Like, sometimes you smell petrol, that smell is very addictive versus the first train in, like, at least in India, smells very nice if you're around the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. What does progress look like in the next 3 months, in the next quarter?
Hmm. First pick stop pilot, we break like we break ground on the first break of pick stop, because the services side, all of that is now standardized towards which the next exponential thing, which I'd call growth, is kind of a little away. We have a lot of work to do there, but a measurable goal which would be different with respect to what we've been trying to do and the outcome of it would be a pick stop on the street.
Final question. What
Mhm.
advice do you wish you ignored?
There's a few, for sure. There's a bunch of advice I wish I really ignored. Was more like my personal instinct is towards taking risks. So I'm one of those guys who jump and then figure out what to do, how to land. My personal instinct is like that. Then, uh, for a person who's this ad hoc in life for everything he does, planning every bit for the next 6 months or 3 weeks, that journey, I took too seriously, which was kind of not necessary. Why? Because I was going against my instinct. So this is something I definitely like to leave our audience with: is follow your instinct on what's best for you. If something works for someone else, need not like necessarily work for you. But it does take time to figure out what's right, or how to follow that gut feeling. Follow your intuition more than somebody's opinion.
I love that. I love that. I think that is it's a very common strand I'm hearing with a lot of the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the CEOs I'm talking to, is that there's an inner message or calling that they're saying this is how I need to navigate forwards, and this is my own north star, and I want to
It
just
might lead to a mistake, for
yeah.
example, but getting through that mistake or going through that journey of that mistake is going to make sure you're solid for life on a lot of avenues.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, so valuable. Rupesh, that time has flown. It's just hitting the hour approach now. I want to really thank you for spending the time with me, giving me a really small snapshot of where the business is, and I hope our audience got some value, got a nice insight into what you're doing and the mission you're on. We'll tag you all in all the socials. If anybody wants to learn more about you, they can go to the website, connect with you, and start having them conversations. But let's keep connected over this next quarter, this 3 month sprint that we've got. As you hit them wins that we touched about earlier on, please share them with me. Share them with me on LinkedIn. Tag me in so we can share them publicly
Yes.
with the rest of the world as well. And obviously, in between, then we'll carry on talking and connecting together as well. But again, on behalf of me, our community, and everybody watching, thanks for your time and wish you continued success.
Thank you for having me on. Are we done?